Hello. Making an introduction video is a very odd process. At least that has been my experience of it thus far. As I've thought about how to introduce myself, I tried to find a word or even a sentence that could describe me or the work that I do. This has been extremely challenging. In that recognition, I thought of several words that describe me. One of those words is storyteller. And so I think the best way I could share a little bit about me with you all is through telling you a story. And this story is about me. I was born into a family, like unfortunately many families, that had suffered a lot of traumas. My coming into being was considered by my parents a miracle, and their ability to raise me, given their histories up until that point, was proof of their value and their worth enough to encourage them to keep going despite the opinions and perspectives of other people. Obviously, for that reason, I am grateful. And so there's this little girl who was introduced to dance at the age of 3. She had so much fun dancing that the weekly dance classes were not enough. She danced in the living room most evenings while playing the radio. And as she began performing, she recognized the opportunity in watching herself perform, and she found it fascinating. Next thing you know, there's a camcorder set up in the living room and a VHS cassette that she would record over countless times and then watch herself and have other people watch her dance. Partly she did this because she realized that as much fun as she was having dancing, when she showed those videos to her parents or to her friends, they too had a lot of fun watching. From there, this girl grew up and continued dancing into her high school years. At this point, she began to recognize that the discipline it took to practice dance for years and years had resulted in a level of skill that she felt confident in and even proud of. It's probably the one realm of her life in which she allowed herself to truly feel that way. In college, she explored the use of dance in other cultures as a means of expression and as a way of telling the stories of people and places and their histories. She found this fascinating. She thought it was beautiful that dance could be used in so many different ways to tell so many different stories, that without words, you could feel what a dance, what a movement was expressing, but in a way that for each individual watching, it would change slightly based on your experiences and your feelings. And so in this way, one singular dance could actually be shared with many different people, holding some aspect of the story true amongst all those experiences of witnessing, but also creating something new and unique for each person who had the opportunity to see it. She went to grad school and studied dance movement therapy and counseling. And it was confirmed what she had known her entire life to be true for herself, that movement is healing. Movement is an opportunity to be curious, connect with the spirit of play that is often easier to find and be with as children, but is 100% available to all of us at any time. As adults, it's just a little harder to let go of the judgment. So as she studied dance movement therapy and counseling, she deepened and expanded her understanding of the ways in which movement had truly helped her grow and survive some challenging times. And she began to formulate how she might use this as a means of helping people that she encountered. Beyond grad school, she continued independent studies of Buddhism and neuroscience and shamanism. She often felt insecure that she had studied so broadly, which was the major takeaway from Marlborough College, where she went to college. Because at times it felt disjointed to have so many interests moving in so many different directions. She hadn't yet found the way in which she could bring all those things together. So she continued her studies and continued her experience of life, and realized that through communication and relationships, she was learning more about herself and more about the world and more about the way that we experience pain, the way we experience loss, and the way that we can move through these experiences centered and present without compromising or sacrificing ourselves, without changing in order to adapt or in order to avoid how we feel. And movement really allowed her to see the freedom she had in every moment to be. And that's what she wanted personally more than anything in the world. And that's what she grew to feel very motivated to provide for other people. A moment, an opportunity, a place to be. Knowing that our being is in constant motion. We are constantly learning and growing. And there's much relief that can come through that realization. And so, in a year's time, she lost her job, lost her dad, lost a significant relationship, and by way of losing that relationship with a person, lost the most intimate relationship she's ever shared with a beautiful animal, a dog. And she lost her home. And she began moving into experiences of holding more openness and more love for herself. And as a result, developing the deepest, broadest, most flexible pool of empathy she's ever had for everyone in her life, even those who have challenged her. And And she decided to stop doubting herself in every moment, because it was time, but also because she knew she had something to offer people. From that first moment that she watched a VHS of her dancing in the living room and observed her parents laughing joyfully in response to it, she knew more than anything she wanted to cultivate joy in her life and the lives of other people. It's taken her 33 years to feel as sure as she does now about how to do that, while also being really excited that now that she knows that she wants to do that and she can do that, she will learn many ways to do that and to support other people in doing that for themselves and for others. And watching that ripple out far beyond me and hopefully far beyond the time that I am engaged in this work and here on this earth. And so that's my story. I have been moved my entire life. And I believe that movement in so many different ways offers us all an opportunity to be with ourselves, to love ourselves, and to experience joy and to share that joy with other people. And so I am now a wandering minister. Wandering is a style of movement that really encourages my curiosity. And ministry is a word, one of many words that I connect to at this time. That for me is about sharing stories, listening to stories, being present to each other, and being committed to love in ourselves, for each other, and for everyone, in a way that I believe is healing, is transformational. And it's time for us to love ourselves and love each other in a radical way. Thanks so much for listening. As always, I hope you have a beautiful day.